Hello everyone, your girl Tay here, and I'm bringing you another Let's Talk Wild podcast episode. Today is November 30th, 2023, and this is episode 50, Animal Lifespans, the 50 and Older Club. We have finally made it to the 50th episode of the podcast, and to celebrate this week's episode, I'll discuss different species of animals whose lifespans have officially made it to the 50 and over club, from mammals, fish, birds, insects, reptiles, and even alien-like creatures in the sea. But before we get into that, make sure you guys follow and subscribe to the podcast on all podcasting and social media platforms. You could support the pod by becoming a subscription member. You could go to my podcast website on Buzzsprout to sign up. I'll have the link in the description box. Also, hit to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and check out the videos over there. Once you're done listening over here, you guys already know the drill. Now, let's talk wild. 50 has always been a number with relevance. And no, I'm not talking about 50 Cent the rapper. I'm talking about 50, the number. Which, I guess 50 Cent the rapper is named after a number. But yeah, whatever. 50 has always been a number with relevance. But with so many different things happening in the world, like disease and war, I think being able to reach the age of 50 is even more of a big deal now. You know, even back then it was a big deal, but I think even more now. It's just so much going on. Like, you don't know if you're coming, you're going, what's going on, but reaching the age of 50 is an amazing thing. And in the words of the late great singer, Tina Turner, she said 50 is the new 30 and 70 is the new 50. 70 is the new 50, girl. I hear that. May she rest in peace. But yeah, she said 50 is the new 30. And I guess that's cool for humans. But what about the animals that have lived that long in the wild and in captivity? Oh, the things they may have seen and experienced. I know humans reflect and look back on things like how they could have did things differently in certain situations. I wonder if animals have those same reflections. I know some species can learn from their mistakes and adjust to help them hunt and or survive, but I'm talking about reflection on a much deeper level. Like, do they think about the time they lost a family member because they took a wrong turn and ended up being attacked by humans or predators? Or are they in their 50 and older stage of not giving two ucks about what happened in the past and are kicking their feet or fins up and screaming, YOLO? And for you guys that don't know what YOLO is, it means you only live once. Okay, so ball out, do what you want, whatever it is, what it is at this point. You only live once, and let's experience some things. Let's do some things. I can definitely envision an elephant yelling YOLO from its trunk. Researchers have stated that elephants have great memories and they can even hold grudges and remember those who have harmed them. In 2022, a 70-year-old woman was trampled by an elephant in India, and when her family was having her funeral service, the elephant reappeared, lifts the woman's corpse, and tramples her again before leaving. That story went viral and everyone revisited the old saying, an elephant never forgets, and wonder if the woman and elephant had a bad run-in prior to the incident. The quote makes sense because the African elephant is the largest land animal and their brains are 3 times larger than humans. Honey, they storing those memories in that big old dome that they got, that big old brain. Now, African bush elephants can live up to 65 years in captivity and 70 years in the wild. Asian elephants can live up to 50 to 60 years in the wild and 70 to 80 years in captivity. Now, the longest living elephant, Vetsala, an Asian elephant at the Panna Tiger Reserve in India, is reportedly over 100 years old. She is not listed in the Guinness World Record because they allegedly can't confirm her age due to not having official documentation of her birth. So, listen, with or without the documentation, it's clear that she's been around for a very long time. She lost her eyesight due to cataracts and gets around the reserve with the help of her trunk and her herd members. Girl, you a old girl, honey. She ain't got no sight, but honey, she's still going. Not the herd. Like, girl, come on over here. Grab my trunk, girl. Come on. You ready to run into the bushes. Okay, come this way. The food is over here. Come on, come on. Now let's head to the skies and talk the longest living wild bird, the Laysan albatross bird named Wisdom, who is over 70 years old and lives at Pacific Midway Atoll National Wildlife Refuge. According to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, biologists first identified and banded Wisdom in 1956 after she laid an egg, and the large seabirds aren't known to breed before age 5. We have talked about the Laysan albatross here on the podcast in June during Pride Month because these species can form lesbian relationships. Yes, they can. Yes. If you guys want to check that episode out, I have it linked in the description box on YouTube. And if you're listening on any podcasting platform, scroll back to June 1st, 2023 to episode 31, okay? Now, for the longest living captive birds, there have been a couple of cockatoos that have made the list, with Cocky Bennett from New South Wales, Australia, being the most famous for reaching 120 years old in 1916. Wow, that's a long time. That was an old bird, 120 years old. Wow. See, when I'm thinking about these long lives, these long lifespans with animals, I'm thinking about, elephants. I'm thinking about species of birds. I never thought about a species of insect that could live up to 50 years. Their lifespan usually doesn't last that long, like far as insects and bugs. So I was surprised when I found out that the queen termite can live up to 25 to 50 years. And throughout those years, her main focus is to keep the colony going by birthing thousands and thousands and thousands of babies. Can you imagine? Y'all know I love when we use our imaginations. I grew up in the era where sometimes as a kid, that's all you had was your imagination. But imagine your homegirl is turning 50 and y'all have a conversation about her life, and all she has to say and show is all of her children, which is fine if that's what she had planned for her life. But she hasn't experienced all of what life can offer her because she focused all her love, time, and energy into her kids. Now, after all those devoted years, at 50, she should definitely be the one yelling YOLO and living her best life, okay? Seriously, YOLO, live your best life. And you can also live your best life by subscribing to Let's Talk Wild on YouTube and on all social media and podcasting platforms. You can support the pod by signing up and becoming a member. You could go to my podcast website on Buzzsprout to sign up. I'll have the link in the description box. Now, let's crawl back into the show. Cue the animals. So, of course, we have to show the reptiles some love. So, representing them is the oldest known land animal and the oldest reptile of the turtle, turpin, and tortoise order ever recorded, Jonathan, the giant tortoise, who is 190 years old. Wow. He has lived through multiple historical events, including 2 world wars and Neil Armstrong's first steps on the moon. Did I say Neil Armstrong's? Honey, the Baltimore accent be trying to come out. I'm trying to say the man's name correctly, and the accent is like, no, you're not. You're not saying his name right. Honey, I'm tired of, repeating his name over and over. Neil Armstrong's first steps on the moon. Okay. Yes. Okay. So Jonathan was alive during that historical event. He was born in the early 1800s and has lived on the South Atlantic Ocean's remote island, St. Helena. People pronounce it differently, but he's been living there since 1882. When he was brought to St. Helena, he was fully grown, and scientists estimated that he was 50 years old at the time. He was a gift to the then Governor William Gray Wilson and has lived at the governor's house ever since. He spends his time grazing, sunbathing, and chilling with the other giant tortoises that live there. His birthday is actually in a few days on December 4th. Wow, he will be turning 191. So happy early birthday to Jonathan. Cue the animals, show Jonathan applause and all of that. Happy birthday, Jonathan, early birthday. And if you guys want more information on Jonathan and his life story, I did do a podcast episode dedicated to him. It's episode 12. The link will be in the description on YouTube. And if you're listening on any podcasting platforms, just scroll back to episode 12. You guys already know the drill, okay? Now let's move on to one of the longest living fish, the Japanese koi fish. Their average life expectancy is 15 to 50 years. But there was a scarlet colored koi fish in Japan named Hanako, which means flower child in Japanese. That's a pretty name. I really love the name. But she lived for 226 years, okay? She was born in 1751 and she passed away in July of 1977. Scientists determined her age by checking the growth rings on her scales. Just like the rings of a tree shows how old the tree is, the growth rings on her scales revealed her age. Wow. And koi fish are beautiful. I know people love to, collect koi fish and just have them as pets and stuff like that. But honey, they live in a long time. Think about it before you get one, honey, because they're going to live a long time. You're going to have to be able to pass them down from generation to generation to generation to generation, okay? Do those children in the future, the future generations, do they even want to deal with pets? They got a lot of stuff going on, honey. Do you think they want to deal with fish? That is the real question, okay? Do they want to deal with pets in the future? They got all this other things that they're going to have to worry about in the future. Climate change, inflation. It's a lot of stuff that the generations ahead is going to have to worry about. And y'all think they going to have to worry about some daggone koi fish? Some pets in general, okay? Don't be discouraged, future generations. Y'all can still have pets in the future. Look, we be going through stuff, been going through stuff. Our pets are our sanctuaries, okay? But getting these fish and they living these long lives, and just any animal that has a substantial amount of life expectancy, you got to be ready to pass that pet down, okay? So think about it before y'all get these pets that be outliving y'all, okay? They technically... these turtles and tortoises and all of that, they dinosaurs in my opinion, honey. They just evolve and evolve and evolve and evolve, but they still living long and long and long and long and long, okay? Like their ancestors, okay? Now, if 50 years, 191 years, and 226 years isn't good enough, well, then we have the immortal jellyfish who can live forever. Yes, of course, this alien-like animal can regenerate and be reborn again. Do we expect anything less from the weird species of the sea? Come on. We know how the sea animals give it up. They have all types of strange abilities, and this happens to be one of them. When the immortal jellyfish starts to die and sinks to the seafloor, its cells begins to, they start doing some things. And the end result is, the jelly becomes a new polyp that grows and becomes a new Medusa, which is the adult jelly stage. I love that. I love that they call it a Medusa. I love it. And then, the cycle continues. They can even form back into a polyp when they are injured. So they don't even have to wait until they are dying or whatever. Like they injured, like, oh, honey, I'm ready to regenerate, be reborn without this injury and start fresh, because this is not how I want my life starting off, like with this injury. Like I got snagged by something, like absolutely not. We got to get rid of this. I'm going to go back to a baby, and then I'm going to a baby polyp, and then I'm going to be reborn. So yeah. The immortal jelly has this everlasting ability that can keep the species going for, well, forever. But with that, I wonder if these old animals ever just want it to be over with. No birthday celebration, no rejuvenation, no rebirth process, none of that. Just ending their story with what they've already left for us. What do you guys think about today's episode, Animal Lifespans, the 50 and Older Club? Leave a comment and follow and subscribe to the podcast on all podcasting and social media platforms. Don't forget that you can now support the podcast by joining the monthly membership subscription. You could go to my podcast website on Buzzsprout to sign up. I'll have the link in the description box. Love yourself, one another, your pets, the animals, and of course, the animals and the pets that's in their 50s, that's 50 and over. The elderly need love too, okay? So love your pets and your animals, and love your people that's over 50 as well. Make sure, call them up right now. As soon as you're done listening, call them up right now. Make sure they are okay. You know, look out for your people and your pets and your animals, of course. I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.